All right, so I'm here with Rob Iliff, who is the owner of the Louisville Futsal League as well as the Louisville Futsal Academy. And first of all, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Could you describe your position in terms of like the leader on the futsal?
Louisville Futsal, I guess you could say I originated it to be like the founder. I'm the founder of it, and then the owner and director of it. So when it comes to all the different like daily operation like activities, I guess I'm the guy that goes in and just does make some things happen. We have a couple of different people on staff that help out and support, but I guess I'm the founder and the director of the program.
Awesome. Can you explain like your main responsibilities, like with not only just with Louisville Futsal, but as well as like the league? Like you have a summer league as well as like a winter league that's very successful.
Yeah. So the winter league actually starts like in December and goes to the end of February. I'm responsible for making sure we have sufficient facilities to play with, referees. So we have a referee coordinator that I have to communicate with. We have, since we're an independent organization, so we rent from these facilities, I have to go ahead and be in constant contact with the facility management team. And then I actually, what I do is I promote, I advertise, I go ahead and try to get everybody rallied together throughout the whole soccer community to see who wants to sign up. And then once they sign up, then we have a scheduler. So I have another person that helps me out with scheduling the games throughout the 3 months. And so all that in itself kind of just formulates into our winter league. And then the same goes with the summer league. The summer league, we're actually partnered up with some guys up in Cincinnati. So same kind of format.
Okay.
We have referee coordinators. We host one here in town. Then there's one hosted in Cincinnati. We're each responsible for each of the weekends that we host. And then kind of similar job duties. Find sufficient facilities that we're going to use, sufficient referees, and then creating a schedule for the teams that are playing in the league.
Awesome. And you guys have like multiple different facilities that you use throughout the year to put on the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have like between 4 and 5 facilities. So we have like between like 4 or 5 different facility management teams that we communicate with, that we create a relationship and on paper with some of them that we're in like agreement of what kind of hours we're going to use throughout the 3-month period.
And just for the people that don't know, can you describe like futsal as like a sport, like for what it entails, the facility management that's needed, like everything that would go into the equipment, all that?
There's what you have is regarding like a 2 meter by 3 meter futsal goal that you use, and then a hard floor surface, usually a basketball court or sport court that is used to play when playing this type of brand of soccer. It's a variation of, I guess you could say, basketball and ice hockey, just built up into a smaller scale of soccer, outdoor soccer, that is just brought inside and played indoors. It can also be played outdoors on clay courts, or in other countries, they use clay courts, or they use like the hard surface courts for like tennis courts that we have here in the United States. And so it's not necessarily just played inside during a wintertime season. It can be played year-round, and it can be played outside as well. Nice. So it's just a smaller variation of soccer. It's basically like street soccer, but just more organized and with a fancier name used like futsal.
And what would you say is the reason for having, what does futsal do for the person that's like interested in it? Like, what are some benefits to playing futsal?
I personally think that a lot of the kids that do like it, they like the transition. Like they like the whole all around engagement with the game. It's like going from like offense to defense, defense to offense. You can't hide pretty much. You have to constantly be like touching the ball, be comfortable with the ball, value the ball, and then obviously there's a lot of movement involved. So there's a lot of creativity that has to be depended upon by the players. So the brain is constantly just being stimulated, like just 100% of the time. You're always like your head's on a swivel. So the game just kind of swallows you up, and just kind of like you have to figure out how to battle back and figure out how to take advantage of all the different
aspects of
aspects. Actually, that's the right word. Aspects of the game of futsal. Yeah.
And compared to like 11-11 soccer, even indoor soccer, it's only 5-5, and that includes the keeper.
Yeah.
So it's short. Like you can't hide. There's no space.
No, right. Yeah, and it's constant change of direction. I mean, it's from a conditioning standpoint, you have to constantly like pretty much on your game physically, you know, because it's very exhausting. I mean, maybe 2-3 minute shifts and then you're out.
Okay.
You know, so because you're trying to play at a high level, you know, trying to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say for you is a normal work day within the season, like when the winter season is going on or the summer season, of just like a normal work day from like morning to night?
Well, I tell you, there's a lot of emails of exchanging between referee coordinator on a weekly basis. I'm meeting with my referee coordinator. We're hashing out how to, you know, he communicates with the referee crew. I feel like I'm in constant contact with our facilities just to make sure they know what the schedule looks like upcoming. I'm with my scheduler a lot, you know, talking about how we're going to move forward with like upcoming weekend schedules.
Yeah.
And then there's constant contact with the team because obviously we're communicating with and entertaining a club community that has a lot of other obligations, a lot
How many
of other
teams?
Yeah, it was 168 teams this past year.
Wow.
So there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of trying to work around people's schedules because we work with the club, the community. We have to try to accommodate their schedule. They're not going to accommodate our schedule. So we try to make sure that there's a working relationship of, you know, complementing their training over the winter time, and then
That's a lot of different schedules that you gotta.
moving pieces.
Yeah, sure. So, in your normal work week, what is something that you would say you like most about your position? And then also, what is something you say you hate most about your position?
What do I hate? I want to go with what I hate first because I like a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
I like a lot. So like what I hate is gonna be very hard to figure out because all of the benefits, like everything that I do throughout a work week, all the moving pieces, like I enjoy. You know, communicating with the coaches, communicating with the parents, or using social media to kind of like get the word out about what's upcoming and how we can try to educate people. I guess you would have to say, you know, the league has become competitive.
Yeah.
So you find that moment where I feel like people's emotions kind of get the best of them. So I hate when I see somebody kind of like allow their emotions to kind of get a little too ahead of themselves, and then, you know, they don't really think about what they're saying because at the end of the day, there's been a lot of like feedback of like rebuttal, like, you know, a negative feedback that I don't really truly feel like is like exactly what's going on. Of course. So I have to hear about it and then go back to the office and really honestly think about it. But really, I don't feel like, you know, that kind of exchange of words is a genuine like exchange of like how they feel.
Yeah.
So it's just that, you know, emotional side of the competitive environment that the league has created, that the game of futsal has created, and I just have to kind of like take like and pick and choose my battles.
And what is the age range? Because I know for the little kids, they're not going to be as temperamental as some.
It goes from 9 years old up to like 18 years old.
Okay, so you're dealing with like also seniors in high school.
Yeah. So like a lot of the parent, maybe emotional like feedback that we get comes from that 9 to 12, 13 year age range. Once they get to about 14 years old on up, it's more on the players, you know, and you don't really hear some of that disgruntled, you know, feeling about the league or what was going on this game or that game from one weekend to the next weekend because, you know, as players, you know, they're competitive and it's by nature, but, you know, they kind of forget pretty quickly.
Okay, and what are some aspects that you love? I mean, I know you touched on.
I definitely love everything that goes on throughout the week of like communicating with all the different variables that we have to like move around. You know, when it comes to referee coordinator, making sure everybody knows about the schedule. But the biggest thing is like all those different moving pieces that I do on a weekly basis. When I get to see like the games kind of fall in place and kind of just run on its own, like it's actually pretty cool. Like to see how like a machine, like a well-oiled machine, can kind of function without too much like micromanaging things on the weekend, like the whole weekly, you know, activities that I do. Then you just see how it kind of falls into place.
And it's so important that when you delegate that responsibility, is that everyone is on the same page.
That's one thing I actually say I do appreciate the most. You know, after doing this like 10 years, it's like we have some people that are really invested now. They have some skin in the game.
That's good.
And so I really appreciate seeing how like over time, like the game has evolved. Like people have taken a lot of pride and some like ownership of like wanting to play it, wanting to incorporate it as like a part of their curriculum, or part of their, you know, player development methodologies. But I personally like that. You know, I've had other people jump on board that are willing to want to help, so they can see it, you know, move forward and continue to be part of our, you know, soccer team.
And you're not only a coordinator, you're a coach. So for you, heading up the league and also being like a coach of one of the teams, how is that in terms of your team, like what are some aspects as a coach? Because you wear a different hat there,
Right.
as a coach. What are some aspects as a coach that you enjoy and that you don't enjoy?
Well, I definitely enjoy that the whole entire community has jumped on board because, you know, with me being a coach and enjoying and have a pretty high passion for futsal, like I really do like that time of the year, I get to use that platform of all these different, you know, clubs coming together as one to compete against, you know, each other.
Yeah.
And so it gives us like something to kind of like work towards when we're training. You know?
Absolutely.
So futsal's been like something I grew up playing as like a training method.
Yep.
And then I use it as like a coaching method to help train players over the winter time. But the idea of just actually playing it is completely like different. You know, like I mean, you get to be a little bit more methodical in how you want to train, and now having teams to play against. You know, like from one week to the next week, try to keep up to snuff. Like just
and there's some competitive clubs, so there's some pride in it as well. Like you want to win every.
Oh yeah, for sure. So as a coach, I'm like definitely like I see a lot of like that be very positive, something that I enjoy looking forward to.
Yes.
I guess I don't know if there's any downside to like me coaching in the league. And, like I guess the downside is I have to worry a little bit about how I have to kind of wear two different hats.
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
being the league coordinator and actually being like the director, like it kind of like puts me in a position where I have to kind of watch my behavior. You know, my competitive nature. I can get excited. So it kind of like that's the part that I maybe don't like that I embrace and know that it's my responsibility to kind of show by example, like to, you know, keep my cool from like one role that I played to the next role.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah. So, but I like being in a position at the same time. It does have some, you know, side effects that I sometimes don't appreciate, having a takeaway.
And with that academy, I've heard you guys have been very successful throughout the years. So aside from the league, what are some other aspects or other events that you guys go to as an academy, as a club, that you have had to organize, or something that you enjoy about organizing?
So we go to a couple different tournaments throughout a 3-month period. We go to maybe 4 different tournaments. We partner up with a couple of people that come to our tournament. We do a tournament at the beginning of February. It's called the Tiki Taka tournament. So we have made some partnerships with some teams up in Chicago, Michigan, and Cincinnati. So those
it's
three,
a regional thing.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
we go to their tournaments and they come in return and pay it forward. And then we go to a regional event that USYF, United States Youth Futsal, organizes, that we participate as an academy or as a club, as a futsal organization. And then from there, you know, depending on how you do, then there's a national championship event. So, you know, it's something that we do outside of the benefits of, you know, when we run our club, when we host our tournament at the beginning of February, we're more so doing like partnerships of knowing that people are going to return the favor.
Yeah.
Those regional and national events, it's more of like pride. It's more out of like, you know, trying to, I guess, establish a group of people that have like
and grow a brand.
A brand.
Not just for the state, but regionally and nationally.
Yeah, just I guess some recognition of like individual players coming together and playing as a team, and then hope that, you know, we fare well and kids have fun doing it, and then come back and boast about it.
Yeah, of course. And I want to give you the props where it's deserved. How many national championships have you guys won as a club?
We've won 2.
Okay.
2 national championships. The city of Louisville has been involved with like, I want to say 4.
That's incredible.
National championships. 5 actually. 5 national championships in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And so Louisville, like by storm, like more or less like by clubs, different clubs have gone to the national circuit and have competed well. So aside from myself, kind of just taking on my own to go to the national tournament a couple years, like about 4 years back. We were, you know, fortunate to have some players that successfully competed and won. And then actually this past year we had a second place finish for the Louisville Futsal Academy. So in the last 4 years we've had 2 national championships and then a runners-up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys have, how long have you guys been like going, honestly? Like not, because I know you guys started a little bit back, but like really you guys just started going to national tournaments and regional tournaments.
Yeah, I would have to say like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's grown very quick.
Yeah.
And it's become very successful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That's real cool.
Yeah.
And with that, it's been mostly Louisville players based, right? Like it's been mostly local. I mean, a sprinkle in of other players from the same region, but mostly it's been the Louisville kids.
For the majority of the time, the 4 or 5 years, that I've been doing things and things have evolved.
Yeah.
It's been Louisville-based players from our community, from our local soccer community, and then we had one team that had a few players from up in Michigan. So, but yeah, mostly all the players are homegrown, like Louisville youth soccer based, players.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch on to a different subject. For you, what made you become interested in this field of not just futsal, but also being like the coordinator and saying, I'm going to take on the responsibility of like heading this up and growing it in Louisville?
I'll tell you, it's funny because I was like the lonely man on that boat. So my buddy Carlos was like, hey, we need to make this like a playing option.
Yeah.
But I mean, for a while there was like a lot of resistance. Like it was
Okay.
almost like a change that I was trying to create and presenting to the soccer community that really had a pushback.
Of course.
And so I don't know why I was interested, other than I was young enough to be interested, to be like pretty persistent on making it an option, a playing option. And I didn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the game. I mean, I played it a little bit, and like I said, I used it as a coaching method to train over the winter time, and it just seemed like a no-brainer, and it wasn't something that was going on.
And you believed it was going to better the development of the youth kids, which it has.
Yeah.
No question it has.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I decided to do it, but I mean, I just know that I had the support from Carlos and pretty much with my buddy. Like I just take his word and run with it, and usually it turns out, to be something that evolves into something.
Yeah.
And then just with me being young and kind of persistent, just had like a passion for soccer. I mean, it was just a no-brainer that I felt like it was going to happen eventually. Because the game of, the game itself, like futsal, is going to speak for itself. It's just going to be like the kids are just not going to want to, not play it. They're just not going to do it. So just after a while, just like after, one team from, one winter time, the next winter time, one team, and then another team, and then maybe clubs, and then a different club would jump on board after a while, which is just going to start, being a snowball thing.
For sure.
Just get bigger and bigger.
And then touching back on some of the things we talked about beforehand, what are some attributes or characteristics that someone in your position would need to have in order to be a successful coordinator for the league and as well as a coach? Because I mean, the teams have been very successful.
I personally think that like that person has to definitely be like open to talking with their colleagues amongst the soccer community with definitely an open mind. Like definitely like knowing that I took about 4 years away. I took a step away from coaching.
Yeah.
So for 4 years I was just a neutral person. So I kind of think that helped me out a little bit.
Sure.
Once I revisited coaching, I think really you have to still be neutral. Like you have to make sure you put your personal agenda of like a coach aside when you're trying to bring like-minded people together.
Yes.
And try to know that it's going to be one person that's going to have to be that. I guess I always call myself like the nut job to go ahead and like put this all together and like put all the work into it, because it was going to have to take somebody to do that, and I decided to make that me amongst all the other big fish. I was a small fish in the pond with all these other big fish that had a lot more at stake, a lot more stakeholders involved in soccer here, and I just figured, well, let me get all these stakeholders involved and just tell them like I'll be the dude that puts all this stuff together, because like a lot of these general managers and coaching directors, they manage a lot of teams, and so to try to actually bite off the idea of like coordinating a league for all these different teams, like it's just not going to be up their alley. So it's going to take somebody like me that took time away from coaching to just bring everybody together, and then when I did go back to coaching, just still continue to like network and know that really there should be no like question of my agenda. Like I wasn't trying to sneak around and try to like look for an advantage to gain players from other clubs. I just wanted to use my players and have platforms to like play against other teams with my team in mind and the players that were playing for me.
So for you, it was a mindset of more what can I give to this community instead of what can I get for myself.
Right, exactly. It really was that. I mean, you kind of put it in perfect words. Like I wanted to give back to the community, something that I felt like I think we need.
Yes.
I didn't know, but I felt strong about it. Plus, I just, like I said, my buddy Carlos said something about it. I was like, I went with it. So I just was like convinced just from day one that it needs to be something that we need to try to look at doing. For sure. And I didn't take no for an answer. I just kept on working at it.
All right. I'm still involved.
Yeah, and it's made a difference, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
No, for sure.
Last question, and this is the one that kills everyone, but if you could go back and do it all again, would you change anything?
I kind of like always thought about how we started up.
Yeah.
And how like accidentally things have evolved.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have told me like, hey, you should try to be under one roof with multiple courts.
Yep.
And really, I don't know if I would do anything. I mean, I think I would do it like exactly the same way I would definitely like still stick with my guns of like not breaking away from how I believed and like how like everybody should come together and benefit from this.